And good morning, afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in.
Ugh. Well, it's afternoon here in lovely New York.
I'm Bill.
I am Lawrence Patchman Lang.
Danny Boy Reginald in the house. People, what's going on?
And welcome to episode 4 of the Sports Insanity Podcast.
Man, been doing this thing for a month already. Wow.
And we still haven't gotten kicked off yet, so we're doing okay.
Maybe after this episode we're getting kicked off finally. But we'll see how the day goes.
Well, you never know. So, how you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Good.
It was a fun week at work for me, being a grocery store worker. But me, it's a Saturday and enjoying this day off, and I get to spend with you two guys for a little while. So it's going to be fun.
We're on it. It's a beautiful day, too.
Gorgeous day after afternoon thunderstorm delights in the area.
Yeah, so listen, if you guys are listening, if there's no thunderstorm, when you're done, get outside and do something. And remember, folks, social distance.
Yes, please.
As they say, 6 feet. 6 feet apart.
Before we get down to business, I got a quick funny story. The other day I was out with my mom. I was doing something. I was waiting in the car. I saw like a bunch of like 4 or 5 boys between the ages, I think like between 11 and 14. No social distancing, no mask. I feel like I wanted to be that cynical old grandpa type, roll down the window and yell, 6 feet and put on a damn mask.
But you got to realize, young adults, some of them don't listen, but hey, if it's just a small group, it's a small group.
The Utes.
The Utes of America, as they say.
Oh, God, I'm sounding old.
We are old, Bill. I'm 26 at the moment. 30's coming.
As my brother so eloquently tells me, he goes, tell me, in my college kid years, you're like 50.
I always joke with my one friend. I'll go, you're going to be 40 before I'm 30. So, haha to you.
And, before we go on, Reg, would you like to explain to our audience why you're wearing a mask, just so you know?
Yeah, for those of you that are listening to the podcast, I am wearing a mask. For those of you watching, it's very noticeable. Reason being, I'm in Pennsylvania for the day, so I'm in my sister's house. I came from the very epicenter of this ever-changing situation. So I just think that, it is a safety precaution just to keep the mask on because I don't want to possibly expose anyone to anything. So, it's just part of my duty to make sure that everyone's safe, including my sister and her family.
Which is a smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep, and if you have trouble hearing me, I apologize, but, better to be safe than sorry.
Yes, better be safe than sorry.
Agreed.
So anyway, with that being said, we got a great show for you today, don't we, guys?
Right.
Absolutely.
We're talking about the plan to reopen baseball. We're talking about the court. We're talking about the DeAndre Baker situation,
Mm-hmm.
and we're also ranking all our teams and their chances of winning a championship.
Oh,
So kind of once you look about it, we kind of got a bit of a light load today, don't we, guys?
it's a light load, but when I feel like we have a light load, back in the radio days, we tend to spend a half hour on one subject. So it's going to be interesting, but
Yeah,
the time will probably fly by, and before you know it, will be 3 o'clock, and we'll have to wrap things up.
Who knows how long we'll be here? Who knows?
It's forever. I'm walking away.
Well, it's not like we have anything better.
You're just going to see me slowly close my laptop and go away.
Okay, so you know what? Why are we talking about what we got to do today, and why don't we just do it?
Let's get to business.
Let's rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun, guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Enjoy the show. Let's get to it.
All right, so first, we're going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we have a sign of hope during these dark times.
As they say, glimmer of hope.
We have a glimmer of hope. And that is this past week, the MLB owners have voted to approve a plan to reopen. Applause! Applaud! Applaud!
I'm gonna give it a subtle golf clap.
God, why isn't getting any applause?
Because we're probably still far away.
And I'm very not optimistic about this plan getting approved by the players. That's why I'm not very optimistic. But I mean, we can still go ahead and speak of it because everyone's pretty interested in how MLB is gonna, do this reopening process.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to start by having spring training like mid to late June.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as they say, 4th of July, kick things off.
Isn't that a great way to celebrate our country's birthday by reopening America's pastime?
I mean, as long as there is a Nathan's hot dog eating contest too, I'm in for it.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I was coming up with something. There's a way they can have the hot dog eating contest.
Zoom it.
In New York?
Well, you can not say you have to have the audience there, but you as they've been having the cornhole, like where it's in a hotel room. Put it this way: you have the table, you put up those silly test barriers you had in high school, where you couldn't go look over at your neighbor's sheet to cheat. Put that barrier up, and then you can just have the camera on them. You can watch them eat the hot dogs.
Whatever is safe, I guess. You just gotta make sure they're following, protocol, which is
as long as they follow
too.
And So Reg, can you tell us the plan, Stan?
So yeah, here's the plan that the owners, the baseball owners approved. That is still up in the air with the players. Again, my opinion is that they're not going to accept it, but in any case. 82-game regional schedule and universal DH. So what does that mean? That means that in 82-game schedule, regular season schedule, in which they keep the league, so the NL and AL will probably stay in, but they're only facing teams within their region, and they're facing the AL counterpart. So let's say the AL East and the NL East, since they're in the same region, they're going to be facing each other. So it's just going to be those two divisions. Then the same thing with the Central divisions and the same thing with the Western divisions. So, and then that along with the universal DH, and that was because it's to protect the pitchers because they've been shut down for so long. I think they're just trying to be fair to all the pitchers. They don't want to put them in a situation where they have to bat and possibly injure themselves. It's bad enough that they missed so much of the season already because of the pandemic that they would put themselves in that position. So universal DH all across, which I've been advocating for years.
Which I think would be a good idea.
So I'm glad that they're finally putting that in there. So along with that is a 30-man active roster with a 20-player taxi squad. So in a sense, that's so the active roster is going to be 30, but let's say you need to call up people. Minor league season is very much not going to happen. So you have 20 other players that you can call up if you need some help. So that's what's going on there. It's going to be a 50-50 revenue split. That's the thing that the players are not happy about because they already had to cut the salary for this season. Now they're expecting to share all the revenues with the owners, and that's not quite what they need. They've been very much they've been pretty much saying they need the money because they play so many games. So, that they're very money hungry, these players. So that's the thing that's really separating them. But then the other one is the 14-team playoff. So I'm assuming it's 7 teams in each league, and home cities will be hosting in October. So that's cool.
That'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
So guys, what do we think of this plan?
Definitely interesting. 50-50 split revenue is definitely interesting because it doesn't favor the players that much. I know Blake Snell came out the other day, pitcher for Tampa Bay Rays, stating that he wouldn't come back for the money. because he wants his full salary. So it's like a little bit of a shocker to hear some of the players lash out about it. But then again, is one season really going to affect you financially if you're a major leaguer?
And that's my thing. I just don't understand. If you are any type of millionaire or billionaire out there, and you're complaining about money in a time where the entire world is struggling financially, it's just absolutely insensitive
I agree.
to reject an offer to bring back your sporting event or any type of event just because you're not going to be able to make the money that you want. It's incredibly insensitive. Excuse the noise in the background. But it's
all
like
right.
you can't possibly be that money hungry in this time. I just think it's ridiculous that the players would ever want to put themselves in that spot where you're going to delay everything because you're not making the millions of dollars that I just can't believe that's what's going to separate having baseball and not having baseball. I don't get it.
I agree with you guys. And do you think there are any players who are okay with this 50-50?
Who knows? Because you really haven't heard anything from the players suggesting, "Hey, I'm in favor of this." But like you've heard a few players lash out about saying they're not in favor of this. Going back to the 50-50 split, like
Tony Clark, who is the leader of the union, he's even said we're not going to agree to that. We're not going to agree to a 50-50 share, and so. Even though players aren't necessarily speaking out, at least the union is.
And also the ones I feel bad for are the minor league players. They're missing out on money right now. Okay, like how do you think we go back to Blake Snell? Okay, he's not making the millions of dollars this year. What about the minor league players? They're not making any money right now, it seems.
Yeah, and
because they're missing out. Like you got right now, I think AAA, AA, and Single A are supposed to be in season right now, along with the MLB, because the short seasons don't start till the middle of June or early July.
Yeah, I want to go off what Reg said, if that's okay. Reg, I 100% agree with you. I think they're being ridiculous. And listen, I'm usually a pro-union guy, but they're acting like a bunch of, and I really hate to say this, but they're acting like a bunch of spoiled brats. Listen, I love baseball, but you know what? Listen, guys, there are people who are losing their freaking jobs out there.
Unemployment keeps going up every day.
Who can't support their families.
Yeah. I mean, I could go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
Who can't support their families. And listen, you have to make more than millions you make every year, and you could sit here and cry about it. And listen, we want baseball back. And listen, I'm not saying okay, dance monkeys, dance. You have to play, you have to listen to us. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying all of us, we want baseball because we want a return to normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
We want a return to normalcy.
Yeah. And look, I understand where they're coming from. Look, they are also going to be risking themselves, their lives.
Yes, that
out
too.
there and playing a sport that you don't really need to play. So you're asking them to do a lot. You're asking them to test, all these things. And yeah, of course they're going to want something in return. But at the same time, it's just really not a good idea to have a dispute over money when, Patchy even made a good point that the minor leaguers who make maybe no more than $700K, maybe a little more, maybe a little less a year.
It depends where you're in the farm system.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Single A, AAA is a hell of a lot different unless you got a big signing bonus when you got drafted.
Right. So those players, they're not going to make that much this year because the teams are losing money.
Also, minor league teams are
money.
Minor league organizations as themselves are losing a bunch of money because you look at certain city areas where minor league teams are. Sometimes that's their revenue generator.
And you know what? Here's what I would propose. If the union votes it down, If it's going to help the union, if it's going to help the players' union sleep at night, I would say the owner should propose, instead of 50-50, maybe 55-45 or 60-40.
You're better off going 60-40 on that. 60 to the players, 40
Okay,
to
I
the
was
owners.
going to say 60 right off the bat, but I was trying to find the middle. Sorry about that, guys.
60-40 is the best option to go in
I
this
would
scenario.
say go 60-40. 60-40 in favor of the players. That's
and,
what
and revenue sharing is happening across a lot of leagues. NFL has revenue sharing, NBA has it too. So, it's not really a new concept. So again, I just don't understand why they're not going to adapt to this change just for this year, when you know that that things are going to be very different. You're not going to see a lot of fans at the ballpark starting off.
You're not going to have any fans.
Because and because look, you see it in South Korea. They're not letting anyone in, and their numbers are vastly going down. It's crazy. So, even though things are getting better, nothing is gonna change. They're still gonna have no fans, and that's not gonna bring in a lot of money. And teams are struggling right now. These teams are struggling across all leagues.
And not just, with the players. You also got to see with the arena workers, thankfully, a lot of the people are stepping in. And, a lot of, like, for instance, with the NBA, Mark Cuban and them stepped in to give money to the NBA arena workers.
Bryce Harper had actually a few ideas about the MLB.
Let's hear him.
Okay, so I'll just give me a few minutes to read it. He goes, just an idea have been thinking about. East versus West, like NBA, July 31st days, I think so. I think he's saying start that, then go to August 31st days, September 30 days. So 135 games he's proposing. Off day every 2 weeks on a Monday and Sunday, doubleheader 7-inning games. 30 players, 6-man rotation, save arms. If pitchers want this, if not, he says no big deal. DH and any other ideas are possible. Need to figure out if somebody gets hurt, what happens. Not sure who and where you call up from, etc. Here what he has for the playoffs. 2-week World Series like Super Bowl week. 10-team round robin format. College World Series kind of style at the new Texas Stadium. 3-game series. You win the series, you move on. You lose, you play the other loser in a 1-game wild card. Winner of that moves on. Other team is out. Or you could play in Vegas, so you have the Strip hotels and could use one hotel for all the guys and contain possibility. 2-team left, 7-game World Series. They get 2 days off before the series. With those 2 days off, you do the All-Star Game and Home Run Derby. You do the MLB Awards as well at the time. Open this up on all platforms, no blackouts. 2-week World Series like Super Bowl week. Then you bag up the season the next 2 years, May 1st, 2021, April 1st, 2020. And he goes, I don't know, just some fun ideas. Maybe I'm crazy.
I think he is crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a lot. That is a lot. You're asking
very
to
confusing.
do that. Yeah, look, I would much rather have a very shortened season of no more than 100 games. Because
listen, Bryce, if you're listening, I know you have the good intentions, but it just sounds very convoluted.
Yeah, that and like he wants to play 135 games, so you're going to risk pushing the baseball calendar back a little bit just so you can play your precious 135 games. You don't need 135 games. There have been shortened seasons before. There have been leagues that have shortened seasons. Baseball's had shortened seasons before. So why is it that you need to have over 100 games? You don't need to play over 100 games. Another thing that struck me is to have a few days where you have double headers.
That's crazy.
No, you don't. I mean, I can understand just playing 7 innings, but still, that's a long day. Double headers are a long day enough. Imagine having to do that multiple times a year, not because of a rain out, but just because it's just on your schedule. Like, because you need to make sure you catch up to make sure you reach that, reach the goal of playing all those games. Like, to me, it's just not. It's just that's a lot to put on the players, and it's asking for a little too much.
All right, Patch, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting. Like I kind of like the All-Star format thing. Okay,
Yeah, the All-Star game after the season. That's
season because we'll go hypothetical here. We'll throw Bryce Harper in there. He's playing right field. He goes to field the ball. He trips. He's injured. What happens? He's out for the season. Let's say the Phillies are in contention. It's just like having the Pro Bowl at the end of the year. You're better off having it at the end of the season. Do it in between gap. You give the teams a week ready to get ready for the World Series, and you do like what the NFL did. Okay, you have the conference championships, next week's Pro Bowl, next week's Super Bowl. So you do that.
Okay, that's not a terrible idea.
Have the AL and NLCS championships play out. Okay, next week we're going to have the All-Star game, Home Run Derby, because then the Home Run Derby can open up even more. You could have more people in the Home Run Derby. You can have the celebrity softball game like they do, but let's try it for a year.
It's an interesting concept having all the All-Star events happening either in between the playoffs or after the season. Like it's certainly an interesting idea, because even though baseball is a summer sport for the most part, and a lot of those All-Star events take place during the summer, at least it does open up a little bit. It allows more people to get involved since, they're not resting to play the next week to continue the season. A lot of players are going to be rested enough, because they're not participating in anything. The only people that actually miss out, if anything, are the players that are playing for the World Series. Because, but again, that's not really a huge deal. You can always get replaced. You can always have reserves to replace.
Yeah, you always have the reserves.
Yeah. So that's an interesting idea. That's probably the only thing that I would like from it. Otherwise, I think, whatever Bryce is offering, it's just, while I understand he has good intentions and he really wants people to get a lot out of the season, it's just really not that realistic. Because then not only do you have to play all those games, but you have to make sure that there's testing. That's another thing that's separating is testing. It's a big thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, because you got to test everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And, you got to also be concerned on this level about, the health of the players, the health of their families when they go home.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not going to be easy to reopen.
It's not going to be easy to reopen, and as we're seeing right now, definitely not easy to agree to.
You know what? I know I'm saying this now. I should say this at the end of the show, but you know what? Here's going to be our Twitter poll / Facebook poll. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening.
Should MLB do this plan, or should they just wait till next year? That's going to be the poll. What do you guys think?
I'm still in favor of them axing the season.
Axing?
Just axe it completely and start fresh in the fall or beginning of January when pitchers and catchers got to report.
But you would not be complaining if they start baseball this again.
I wouldn't complain if they had baseball this year, but to me, they're better off saying, "Hey, no baseball this year." Is it really gonna break? It's gonna break our hearts if there's no baseball for the summer. It'll be a bummer. Most people will be upset, but I think for the safety of everything as a whole, wait till 2021.
I agree.
There's just too much. There's too much here that you're asking for pretty much everyone. Look, a lost season is going to have a big impact financially. Viewership wise, maybe people might turn away from baseball because let's say football comes back in and they take pretty much everything of that, so that might happen. And of course, a lot of people aren't going to be furious with the Players Association because they're failing to at least talk to the owners and come to a compromise. But, I'm actually with Patchy on this one. To be honest with you, it's just too much right now to start anything. And the fact that you're still in disagreement with how to start the season. That's how pretty much what it shows. It just goes to show you this is how it is. It's not easy to reopen. So knowing that it's not easy to reopen everything to start the season, it's probably better off that you start off fresh in 2021, where the transition is going to be much easier because season's going to start March 31st or April something, right?
Yep.
It's going to run through October. There's not going to be any stoppage or anything, So yeah, I honestly think right now it's just too much to ask for, and you have to start off fresh. And as much as a baseball fan, baseball's not it's my number one sport. It's my favorite sport. It's hard to say this, but that's how it's gonna have to be. There's just gonna have to be no baseball.
Listen, please don't laugh at me, but I'm kind of undecided on this one. We can be honest, this is kind of a tricky situation. Listen, I think, again, I'll say this again, the players union are being a bunch of spoiled brats. Mm-hmm. And listen, if it's really again, it should be the owners of the players union to just say, okay, you know what, here's what we'll do, 60-40, take it or leave it. Players get 60, owners get 40.
The fact that money is involved is what's crazy. It's crazy.
It's disgusting.
It's
and you know
insane.
What? And you know what? Listen, you know what? And you guys are right. If it comes to that and say, you know what, maybe we should just wait until next year because it's July. And listen, if baseball comes back, I'll be thrilled. I will be beyond thrilled.
Things will probably go through the roof.
I'm not going to a game, but I'll be thrilled too, just to watch on TV.
Not have fans either, so that solves that problem. But because listen, I don't know if you guys watched Governor Cuomo's press conference this morning. They were actually asked about baseball. He was actually asked about this, and he said, "Hey, people would need something to watch when they're staying home."
Because right now, New York, we're extended through June 13th.
Well, at least, until that point, there's still possibility that regions can reopen if they meet certain criteria.
They got to meet the 7-step criteria, and Hudson Valley's, I think, at 5 of 7. But don't hold me to it.
Yeah, last I checked, it was 5 out of 7. For those of you who are outside of Europe, we'll give you a brief explanation. New York, instead of opening up all at once, they're going to open by region if they hit these 7 criterias. And where Patch and I live, they've only hit 5 of them. So that's going to be a while.
It'll be a while before, like I say, I think that regions didn't meet the criteria as of yesterday are stuck in the self-quarantine or social distance till 13th. And then they get reevaluated at June 13th. If I think it was the western part of New York, I think they met the criteria. They were allowed to open up.
Buffalo area is still not ready, but central New York, I think it's ready. Mohawk Valley, guys, just north of you, I think, right? You guys are
maybe the capital region was allowed to.
Yeah.
Here's what I say. When it comes to, but dang it, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. Okay, the reopening is, but if you said June 13th, I heard May 28th, I'm hearing 2 different things, but if the region hits any of those criteria before those dates, the region can start reopening.
Yeah.
So yeah, because that's what's going on here, and if baseball does come back, it would be great, but we gotta wait and
rather wait and safe than open up too early and be sorry. You've been seeing it. Other regions of the countries are reopening and Everyone's mass flocking. What's happening? Cases are going back up. What happens? They go back down. They're shut down
Don't get
again.
started on that. We'll be here all day, all night, all day, and all night.
Not a political podcast, but back on baseball.
Yeah, thank you. But I just want to say the final thing before we go back to baseball is, listen, it's taken slow here, but you know what? I'd rather it go slow and we do this right than come out of the gate like racehorses, and then it's going to be a disaster. And like, listen, if I have to stay home for a few more weeks and watch Netflix or go out and walk or do something, then you know what? I'd rather do that than go out and risk my life.
You know, to be honest with you, like I've been enjoying a lot of my quarantine streams. You know, I have Disney Plus, so I've been watching. I've been acting like a kid watching old Disney Channel shows. You know, yeah.
I've been watching 30 for 30s, and I've been watching documentaries on the WWE Network to pass the time when I'm home, and then a lot of Grand Theft Auto with my friends.
So we can pass the time without baseball.
Yeah, but also I've been also going out doing walks because there's only so much TV I can watch in a dry. Because if you guys have known me for a long time now, and you know I cannot sit still.
Right.
I remember like back when we were at the old studio, I'd be like moving around when we were doing the show. But
those were the days.
Yeah, no, my legs would be like shaking underneath because I had to get up and do something. But yeah, I think I may or may not have ADHD. That has been unconfirmed. But getting back to baseball. Sorry, we went off on a tangent about our personal lives.
Yeah, who cares? It's our podcast.
And if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. Am I right?
You can listen to it or you can skip over.
We still like you, though.
We still love you guys, but moving on.
But going back to baseball, it's like the thing is you gotta see where everybody is, though, because and when you brought up the other regions where cases are spiking, because if you have teams that are playing in that region, like even though there's going to be no fans, you still got to be concerned about that.
That more deaths per capita, so it's a lot. It's a lot of cases, a lot of issues. There's just too much going on.
Work everything out. If they can figure out how to work everything out, then we'll get behind it. But you know what? Best case scenario, maybe it's best to just wait until next year.
Agreed.
If you have a Major League Baseball, if you have an idea to how to get everything, I want the plan on my desk next Monday morning.
No, we don't want that, Bill, because then you're going to leak stuff.
And I don't even have a desk, so I should go buy one now.
Don't mind me making noise. I had to get up for a second.
That's okay. You got to do what you got to do.
I had to. I thought my central air wasn't on because it got warm in my house, but it actually is on. So now I got to replug my laptop back in.
But anyway, not with just baseball. Did you hear in New York that the racehorse tracks are going to be reopening June 1st?
Oh, that's a good thing for all those horse racing fans out there who like to.
Can they still make bets even though there's not going to be anyone watching?
I believe so. I believe they can still go places and place their bets on the horses. I think you can do it online.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was talking to a friend the other day. He was doing online horse racing betting on in the one website where he bet like from South Korea races where horse races were starting back up. But yeah, there's just no fans, so you can still bet on horses.
Right.
I believe so.
Yeah, because I think that where that's opening, because those race tracks are owned by the state. Wow, since Major League Baseball is a private entity, they can make their autonomous decisions. I don't think they have to wait for the state, but I don't know. I'm not a legal expert.
Neither am I.
Neither of us are. We don't have law degrees. We have communication degrees.
Communication degrees, that's right. I have 2 of them.
Okay, so so I think we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Baseball is a wait and see game.
And sorry, my nose itches right now. Okay, now moving on. I think it's time to move on to some craziness. What do you think?
Oh, well, craziness has always been in our show. Come on.
But is it? Yeah, I guess so. But is this story really that crazy? I mean,
It's I don't know how to put it. It's a typical NFL story. Sometimes we'll put it.
I guess that's a fair one.
We'll put it. It's a typical NFL story that
There's
happens.
a new
Probably
development as of an hour ago, and we'll get to that in a minute.
it happens every year in the league. We'll put it that way. And we're not talking about a marijuana suspension, which can happen now since the players voted on that, or the league as a whole voted on that.
New York Giants cornerback DeAndre Baker and Seattle Seahawks cornerback Quentin Dunbar were accused of stealing thousands of dollars in cash, watches, and other valuables while threatening partygoers with semi-automatic weapons.
It's not the first time a Giants player got in trouble with that kind of scenario.
You know, right? So they were on the run for armed robbery, and now there's a new development as of an hour ago. DeAndre Baker turned himself in.
Good, not good for him, but good that he's owning up and being a man and going, "Hey, here I am."
Well, but here's the thing that's weird though, is that he's turning himself in, but his attorneys are adamant that he has enough witness testimony to disprove his case, to say that he's completely innocent or at least not guilty of what he was doing. So I mean, I think they're still trying to prove his innocence, but they're not. If that's the case, I don't know why turn yourself in. It's just kind of weird.
Or maybe he's just thinking, you know what? Let me go to whatchamacallit. Let me go turn myself in, take this to court, see what happens.
I guess that's a good point.
I agree. No, hey, as of right now,
if he turned himself in or not.
No, he hasn't yet.
No, not yet. I haven't gotten anything about that.
Yeah. Well,
with the Redskins. He is with the Seahawks.
The Seahawks. Yes, he just got traded.
Yeah. Oh. And now I'm hearing that DeAndre Baker got charged with armed robbery.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I think it was. I think a lot of it was playing cards or whatever, because they got into a fight with someone, and they pulled out a handgun. So that's why they were charged with that. And of course, they were stealing the reports that they stole the cash and the watches. So,
well, it's not breaking news, but 20 minutes ago, that came through my phone. A Redskins wide receiver just got arrested.
Oh boy, who was it?
On 5 charges in Colorado. Hang on, now the notification just closed on my phone. Now I got to pull it back up.
But in any case,
Cody Lattimore.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Got arrested on 5 charges in Colorado, including illegal discharge of a firearm. So it's a fun day.
Place with the firearms.
It's just interesting.
I'm kind of weirded out by this. I mean, look, Baker, was he a first round pick in 2019 for the Giants?
Who, DeAndre Baker?
Yeah, I think he was a first round pick, if I'm not mistaken. And he was supposed to be. I mean, I'm sure he was supposed to be like one of those next big corners that the Giants had. So the fact that
first round pick.
Yeah. So the fact that he's supposed to be taking his next step in advancing his career, and this happens. Like this is a blow.
Crazy.
This is a blow for the Giants. The Giants are supposed to be trying to get better. They're trying to become one of the best teams in the NFL, and supposed to have a good defense on the side. So when you have a first round pick going out and getting into legal trouble, that's not a good look for the team. It's not a good look for him either, who's trying to.
We're trying to rebuild right now, and this crap is going on. And
Yes.
and this is and they do have some possible replacements for DeAndre Baker. I'll go through this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
First one is Dre Kirkpatrick from the Cincinnati Bengals,
Right.
who finished last season on injured reserve with a hyperextended knee and was released in March. Played 99 games and 67 starts. Darke Denard, who is another Bengal, or former Bengal, he had reached an agreement with the Jaguars in March, so that's not going to happen. Us getting him, by the way. Brandon Carr, who's never missed a game in 12 years, and he just basically got released by the Ravens because they declined the option on Carr's contract.
Mm-hmm.
And B.W. Webb from I don't know where he's from. But yeah, the Giants now have a very tough decision to make. They gotta try to begin rebuilding this team.
Right. Well, let's see what happens with this Baker case.
Yeah, it's a developing story, and we're going to see how it plays out.
Hopefully, if it goes his way, then the Giants are lucky. But if it doesn't, then that's a major blow for the Giants because again, they just drafted this guy over a year ago, and again, expected to be one of the big highlights of the defense, playing corner. So the fact that this has to happen in such a really bad time, in such a time where the Giants really need to start getting the ball rolling with this new era. It's just tough. It's tough for a team to really reset themselves. But hopefully the Giants make good decisions, and hopefully DeAndre Baker also keeps in mind that he has to make good decisions. And I wish him all the best. That's all I can really say.
Let's just see what happens.
Situation. It's a really tough situation.
It's a wait and see situation.
Yeah.
When we get more information, we'll talk about it.
It's a developing story.
Yep.
So, well, guys, we now have something very complicated we're going to do for all of you today.
I wouldn't say it's complicated.
This list was harder than the sports movie list we had to make last week.
Hey, this was a good idea I came up with.
I'm not saying it wasn't a good idea. I just think, dang, I'm trying to.
Should I explain to them what we're going to discuss?
I think you should.
All right. So if any of you haven't listened to the first 3 episodes, go back and listen. We talk about the teams we root for. So quick overview. Baseball, I'm a Nats fan. My 2 co-hosts are Yankee fans. We go into football. I'm a Packer fan. Bill's a Giants fan. Dan's a Jets fan.
Can I just say one caveat quick? For football, Giants for the NFL, Notre Dame for college.
Well, we didn't. I said the 4 major sports.
Oh,
on the pro side or all across, from college to.
No, the pro side.
Oh, I put Notre Dame on my list.
That's fine. We can talk about it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Then to go on, basketball, Knicks, all of us. And then hockey, Winnipeg Jets fan, and then Rangers fan. So eight teams to rank. Eight teams to rank, but Bill threw a 9th one in there. But that's all right. We can talk about that too. I can talk about the Badgers.
Sorry, I got a little confused. So
it's okay. We're fine.
Yeah,
but we can get into it now.
The funniest thing, I was making this list yesterday, and you guys made it in 10 minutes?
I made my 10 minutes this morning when I woke up, when I was watching TV.
And I was I was actually working on it last night, and then I forgot to save it, and because when I turned on my computer to get ready for the show, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to save it.
You got to save it, and now it's all lost.
It's gone. It's gone. And I'm like, so I had to literally in 5-10 minutes just jot everything down from memory. It's like working on a paper in college the night before it's due.
No, that's why I save every 10 minutes when I was in college, or it was on automatic save, so I didn't lose it.
I remember one time. I'm sorry, I'm telling a weird college story, but I remember one time I was in a class and I was trying to pull out my flash drive from the computer. and the computer and the flash drive just went into the abyss, and I couldn't find it. And I had a speech for my public speaking class that was due in 3 or 4 hours. So I was like, oh shit. And so I literally had to go run back to my dorm room, run through a flash mob this is a true story. I swear, I am not making this up. A crew of people, okay, because we had this thing at my college called Epic Glee, which was like a glee club where they sing and dance. They would have people outside, and they would do this magic. And I literally had to run through that so I could go back to my dorm and retype the damn speech.
Woo!
Attaboy, Billy.
And my lesson is, guys, make sure you save it on more than one flash drive.
Yeah, or if you're doing impromptu stuff like sports, just make it up in.
Or just do it in Google. Or just do it in Google Docs, because Google Docs saves.
Google, it's a great feature Google Docs they have.
Love Google Docs. Saves right away if my internet decides to bug out on me.
And I did good on that speech. I think I got like an A or B on it. So who says you can't get good grades when you crank shit out the last minute?
I wrote a paper on 3 quotes and got an A. So
remember, kids, that's what you should do. And actually, kids, remember, do not just save on one platform. Save on the docs, save on a flash drive, and save on more than one flash drive. That's my lesson for today.
And if your computer has it, save on a floppy disk. If you know what that is.
Oh my goodness.
Those still exist.
You never know. My old 97 desktop still has a floppy disk drive.
Oh.
Yes, guys. For our younger viewers, yes, or that old.
I'm not that old. It's just we know what a floppy disk is.
Still, though, we're that old to know what it is.
Exactly.
I don't think this generation knows what I don't mean
Yeah, well, we never know who's listening. Maybe a lot of millennials or Gen X's are listening.
Hopefully. But any of you Gen Y or Gen Zers, you guys don't know what that is.
Give it 20 years, the floppy disk will make a comeback and it'll be a gigabyte floppy disk.
Hey, vinyl records made a comeback, so why don't
vinyl is still going strong to this day. I got a vinyl record player.
Okay, I think we should get back down to business. So anyway, Patch, we were ranking the teams, you were saying?
So we ranked the teams of the least likely to win the championship next, their respective championship next, to who's going to win it next. So
okay. We want to give you guys a fair warning. This is not a perfect list.
I might be wrong.
I think mine's pretty accurate.
Who knows? You might be wrong. But you know what? It's okay to be wrong. Okay, I think I'm going crazy, but...
Yeah. All right, Patchman, I think you should start first since it was your idea.
All right, since it was my idea, this was an interesting thing. I'm going to start with number 8, the New York Knicks. Last championship they won, 1973. Oh, it seems they're always in a rebuilding phase every year. So I'm gonna give them next time win championship, 15 years.
It's a long time. I don't know if I can wait 15 years.
It's gonna be a while because I just don't see it happening in the next 5.
Yeah, by then they might be in New Jersey, so it's like, oh.
Let's hope not.
And New Jersey will have a basketball team again.
Yeah, they should have never lost their team, but then the Barclays Center got built.
Yep.
All right, so coming in at number 7, I got the New York Jets. Last time they won championship, 1968, Super Bowl III. Another thing, it seems that they're sometimes injury-stricken. Hopefully I'm wrong with this, but they finally got a good quarterback. But I still see them far up from winning a championship, so I gave them the next 10 years to win a championship. I know I could be wrong on this one, but that's why they're down on the list. Number 6, you got the Giants, New York Giants. Last time they won a championship was 2011. Also, I gave them another 10 years. It seems they need a couple more key pieces. Hopefully their new coach works out. But once again, another 10 years. Give them 10, maybe in the next 10 years they'll win one. Number 5, I got Winnipeg Jets. Never won championship. They made Western Conference Finals against the Golden Knights in 2017. They lost that series 4-2. I give them another 10 years before they win a championship. Number 4, I got Green Bay. Past couple of years, they haven't had good wide receivers, or once again, Aaron Rodgers goes down with an injury, and those key pieces are not there. Matt LaFleur came in this year. They had a great first year, made it to the NFC Championship game, lost to 49ers, but they need to figure a few more things out. I gave them 7 years to win the next championship in that time frame. Coming in number 3, I got Washington Nationals coming off World Series this year. And I'm going to go interesting theory. So I'm going to go the San Francisco Giants theory on this. I think maybe in every other year thing before they figure things out. Number 2, I got the Rangers. 1994 was their last championship. They had They had a Stanley Cup Finals appearance a couple years ago. I give them 5 years before they win it. Coming in number 1, it pains me to say this, but I'm giving the Yankees the next time they win a championship.
How many years you said?
2009 was their last World Series. I think they get number 28 the next 3 years.
Okay. Did that hurt to say, Patchy?
How I feel, Of course, I want my teams to win the championship next, but realistically speaking, the Yankees are next. Out of our group of teams we root for, are going to win it. Are going to win the pennant next. Give them 3 years. If not, I would have believed this year they would have won it all. The season wasn't put on hold due to COVID.
Okay. Can I give my list or?
Sure, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Patrick gonna laugh because some of my list is
What'd you say, Bill? You broke up a little bit.
Some of my list is eerily similar to yours.
Oh boy.
Okay. My number 8 is the New York Knicks. I'm gonna give it like 10, 15 years before they win. And that's being generous. It's like if you missed this joke last week, I'll say it again. It's like that Family Guy joke with the man opening first pitch. It's like at the Garden's like opening night, and here's the first tip, and the season's over. I think we can usually agree the season's over by Thanksgiving.
Depends. I say by Christmas, but whatever.
Yeah, so, the Knicks, I have no hope for them. Coming in at number 7, Reggie, I am so sorry. The Jets.
Don't be.
Because Adam Gase needs to be fired.
Thank you.
Bring back Rex Ryan.
I love Rexy back.
And damn,
Sexy Rexy is coming back.
To be healthy. And I'm gonna give it a 10 years, maybe. I don't know, because you guys haven't won a Super Bowl in 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
But remember what my cousin Brian said, Reg. You guys have a better Super Bowl winning percentage than the Giants.
That most percentage than most teams. They're 1,000%.
Sorry, I crack myself up every time with that. Coming in next, the Winnipeg Jets.
That's all right.
Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. To be honest, I don't know what time. Like, I think they had a wild card spot in this year in the NHL before Tuesdays. But
I got a question. Who's vacuuming right now?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I'll send right
Probably somewhere in my sister's house.
That's all right. I just wondered because it's just weird hearing the vacuum go every minute, but it's all right. Continue, Bill.
Okay, so coming in next is my New York Giants and I'll give it like a good 5 to 10 years because, like, here's the things that have to go on. we got to mold Daniel Jones into a into a franchise quarterback. And I like Daniel Jones, I do.
I like him too, personally. I think he's a good fit for the Giants.
Yeah, but we gotta mold him, and he's got some big shoes to fill.
Semi-big shoes.
Oh, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
It's a hot take for a different day.
Okay, and also, the coach has got to fit in too, because I feel like the Giants are getting a new coach every 5 minutes.
Because they're not that good, Bill.
I know. And we got to see if Joe Judge and Daniel Jones are going to, click. They're gonna
I think they'll click.
Because with the 4 Super Bowls the Giants have won, Bill Parcells and Phil Simms clicked nice. Tom Coughlin and Eli Manning clicked nice.
Like I say, it's going to be interesting first year because the Giants do have a pretty hard schedule. So
I'll be honest, I have little to no expectations right now. So
well, we'll see. But continue your list.
Okay. The next one is the New York Rangers, because they were starting to build a little more before the season got clocked. I would say maybe in another 5 years they could win a championship, but again, this is not a perfect prediction. I might have less or more in some of these rankings. I just And the next one is my Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
All right.
I think the program has been developing nicely at the University of Notre Dame, but the problem is they gotta try to adjust to stronger schedules, playing stronger teams.
Also, to go off that, I think they need to expand the college playoff a little bit.
Really? How so?
Just expand a little bit. It's fun seeing, 4 teams play. I say let's go to 8. Because, we had that interesting interesting outcome a couple years ago with Penn State being left out, I believe. They had a great season, and they got robbed of making the college playoff.
Notre Dame can play, but I think the reason why they're getting their asses kicked by all these bigger teams is because they, by teams from the SEC, because they don't play these guys normally, if that makes sense.
All right.
So I'm sorry if that sounded clunky, but yeah, Notre Dame, I think maybe within another 5 or 10 years they can win a national championship. I'm hoping.
All right, what are you up to? Number what?
4.
Number 4, all right.
All right, Patchy, you're either going to love me or hate me for these next. Actually, no, number 3. What? Number 3. These next 2, you're either going to love me or hate me.
That's fine. I love you regardless.
Aw, thanks. The Washington Nationals coming in next, because I think, what you said earlier, I didn't think about this until you said it. Maybe they can have the San Francisco Giants effect and win every other year.
I can see it happening. It could be the San Francisco Giants effect. Hey, okay, they don't do well this year. Next year, hey, it's one of those magic runs again where it happens.
Reg, you have anything to say about that?
It's interesting. I like it.
I'm leaving you out a lot of this. I apologize.
Well, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just thinking a lot. I'm thinking about a lot because, my list has changed ever since you guys started. So it's I don't know where to put these teams.
All right, Bill, keep going.
So next is Green Bay, because I think how they have made in their last two playoff appearances, conference championship appearances. I think they can win another championship within 5 years, but you also got to put this factor in. Aaron Rodgers is getting up there in age.
Yes, he is. And I have this strange theory that the next time he wins a Super Bowl, he's going to do the Peyton Manning and ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, and then they're going to have to train. What's that? The kid they just drafted?
Jordan Love.
They're going to have to start.
Took me a minute. I'd think for a second.
Because, like what I said with the Giants, and they're going to have to start training Jordan Love to be a franchise quarterback. They got to start prepping for the post-Aaron Rodgers era. And my number one, we have the same number one, my New York Yankees. Because we just got Garrett Cole.
That means nothing, in my opinion, but continue.
One of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. I know you guys beat him. We got the bats. We got Judge. We got Gio. We got LeMahieu.
But they all got to be healthy, too.
Absolutely, that is a valid concern. They all got to be healthy.
That's the one thing that stops the Yankees. If their hitters go down, they're not that good.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, pitching ruined them last season because their hitting was fine until the ALCS, but their pitching was a strong suit, but then they didn't have a true starter to get them to at least 5 or a quality start, which is 6 innings and 3 or less runs. That just wasn't the case. So hitting's got to come alive. Pitching's got to come alive too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I will say maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe sooner. I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to say this thing, and Yankee fans will agree with me on this one. The last 2 LCS championships should be null and void. Because there is straight up evidence that the Astros cheated. And don't get me started on that. We'll be here all night. Null and void.
But it's the truth. But, hey, we can talk about that another time. No matter how many times the Astros are just going to deny it, it happens.
Null and void. I'm sorry. I had to. That was very cathartic, though.
I don't think we're going to take away the championship. Even though we should.
Yankee fans will complain about anything. I like it.
But there was.
Yes, legit evidence. You can't change the past.
You're right, but just put an asterisk next to the title.
You can put an asterisk next to the title. That's about it. It's not saying we're stripping the Astros. Hey, the Dodgers get this World Series, because then you give the Dodgers an asterisk for winning the pennant.
Okay, point taken.
Or the World Series. So
okay, so Reggie, my dear friend, you have.
All right.
Your turn.
Okay, well, my list is probably just a tad different, okay? Number 8, coming in number 8. You guys put the Jets at 7. Well, they're last. And the reason why is because of the stigma. The same old Jets. They stink. They have terrible management. I hope that's going to change with Joe Douglas. But, again, I have to wait and see how that goes. But, just at the very best, mediocrity over the years. And it's just tiring. You know what? I am not confident that anytime soon they're going to be a good team. So I'm going to actually say that they are number 8. Number 7 is the New York Knicks. And here's why. I think the New York Knicks, they're young. They're in a rebuilding stage. I love that they picked R.J. Barrett. Now, obviously, would have wanted Zion Williamson, but that was not the case. So we got R.J. Barrett.
The Knicks wanted Zion so bad, and the NBA draft.
And you know what? I think they were really counting on Zion as like that centerpiece for the free agents that they didn't end up getting. But hey, it is what it is. But R.J. Barrett's a stud. I love him. He's before this season was suspended, he was getting into a groove. I feel like he was starting to find his form a little bit. You started to see a little more consistency with his play. I think he's adjusted very well to the NBA. It's not easy for rookies to adjust very well to the NBA. So the fact that R.J. Barrett is starting to get into rhythm. Mitchell Robinson's also another one. And they have a really good young core. They just need some really good, nice players, star players to fill in that void. So I think they're going to be a little higher on that list in the next championships. Then I have the Giants at 6, only because And I know you may have had a little higher. I mean, I think Patty, you're around the same area.
I had them 6 like you.
I had them
Yes.
at okay, because I did 9 teams. I had them at. I gotta look at my list again.
Yeah, I mean around this.
6.
Yeah, around the same time. Yeah. I mean, the same thing, but I just think that the coaching is better. I think the Giants have a better plan. I think Daniel Jones is better than a lot of people expected, than I thought at least. So, and I'm sold on him. I'm starting to come around to Joe Judge as a
Because a
coach.
lot of Giant fans were pissed off at Daniel Jones when they first drafted him.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's not exactly a beautiful name. You have a quarterback coming from Duke. It's not
Bigger basketball school.
and he wasn't that good anyway. So I coming out, he wasn't rated pretty well. So the fact that he's pretty much proven a lot of us wrong, hey, that's the only fitting that maybe he should be higher up on that list. And I think the Giants will be closer to winning the championship than my New York Jets, which is a shame because the Jets, I felt like they were on a roll, but they're not. Then number 5, it's the New York Rangers. Again, they're a great young team. I love Igor Shesterkin. Him coming in and becoming the number 1 starter over our homeboy Henrik Lundqvist. It's been hard to watch it, but it's been so refreshing to see a young piece to that puzzle, and he has been phenomenal. So I can't wait to see that happen. And besides that, the Rangers were on a roll. You saw the Rangers before everything stopped. The Rangers were awesome. That's a team that when you watch every night, you were expecting wins. And you were expecting them to play well. So you know what? I'm going to have the Rangers higher up on that list. And you know who else I have higher up on that list? The Winnipeg Jets. Because anything could happen in the Stanley Cup playoff.
I agree.
You
Playoff hockey's amazing.
You had an 8-seeded LA Kings team in 2012 coming out and winning a championship. 8 seed.
Well, hey,
being the President Trophy winners in their first series, in the first round, and they went out to win the Stanley Cup. Anything could happen in the Stanley Cup. I love the Winnipeg Jets.
Who would have thought Vegas would have made the Stanley Cup Finals?
That's my point.
Absolutely. In their first season.
I mean, granted, Vegas was loaded, but, Vegas, you don't expect a new team.
A first season new team.
Yeah.
I can't see what the Seattle team does.
Oh, my God. That'll be great if that happens.
All right. Continue your list, my friend.
Okay, then I got Patchy's Packers because of one man, Aaron MFing Rodgers. Period. It's done.
As Stephen A. Smith says, he's a bad man.
There's nothing.
I agree with Stephen A. Smith.
There is nothing more complete about that team than that man, Aaron Rodgers. He makes that team so much better. You saw how the Packers played without Aaron Rodgers. They were a completely different team. This was not that long ago where Rodgers was out for the season and they were awful. Aaron Rodgers makes that team so much better.
He is the Packers.
The best backup quarterback he had was Matt Flynn. And Matt Flynn went to Seattle. We know what happened there. Matt Flynn should have asked for his release and came back to Green Bay because to me, he was that backup piece that Rodgers needed if he went down. And we've seen it because Matt Flynn went off for the first game he played, 6 touchdowns.
Right.
He was that missing piece.
Exactly. And I just hope that, obviously they came short last year in the playoffs, but who knows? And then you have number 2, you have the Washington Nationals. I think I might have been disrespecting the Nationals a little bit, putting them at number 2. But they're a great team. They're a fun team to watch.
Absolutely.
They play well. They play the game right. Because the Astros had a loaded team last Nationals, they were like, they're not a team that you expected to, especially after the beginning of the season in May. You didn't expect the Astros to win a division and go to the World Series, but they did that. So, they're a fun team. They play it right. I love the manager. I think that with Strasburg and his new contract, and then you have Scherzer, I think that's a very, very, they're in a very good window to repeat again. And if not repeat, definitely win another one soon, pretty much soon. And I really hope for that, Patchy. You're going to get into the parade and a true celebration.
Hey,
Start the season.
I love that young stud too that we have, Mr. Juan.
Oh yes. Oh, Juan Soto.
Juan Soto.
He's another one. He's another one.
Hey, Patch, when the Nats won the World Series, I thought you were going to be going down to Washington for the parade.
I thought about it, but I went to work instead and got money. I made money, but I got off at noon at the bowling alley, and I sat in the bar, had a few beers, and I watched the parade on the TV. I just sat in the bar and watched the parade.
Yep.
I loved every minute of it.
It's amazing. Number one, I think we're all in very much of a consensus here. It's the New York Yankees. And the reason being, best team in baseball, by far. They have the number one pitcher. They have the number one lineup. This team up and down is great. I still have concerns about Aaron Boone, but that doesn't matter. The Yankees still win buttload of games. I think that the Yankees are right there. If they can figure out the rest of that pitching staff, if they can figure out the lineup, which I think they will. It's going to be harder. If they have baseball this year, it's going to be a little harder, but because, you got to adjust to new things.
The shorter season.
Exactly. But I really believe this Yankee team, if this team does not win a championship within the next 4 years, then it's a disappointment. It's a disgrace. And you know what? I think that it will be an absolute embarrassment for Aaron Boone, because Aaron Boone has had multiple champs to get this team that won over 100 games to get to the World Series. It's embarrassing.
Oh, it's embarrassing as hell.
Definitely is.
But. So I have my concerns, but I'm very optimistic that out of all the teams, they'll be the first to do it.
Oh, me too. Me too. And I know with Patchy, it's really hard to say that. He's probably like...
No, as soon as I came with the idea, I was like, Yankees are first on this. Yankees have the best team.
So it's not like when you were writing the list, you're like...
No, I wasn't drinking. No, I was like, I got to put the Yankees first. And anyone else that would be in my situation maybe would put the Yankees first next to win, unless they were – I could have said, hey, Nationals are going back-to-back. No, they're not. Nationals, I would love for them to go back-to-back, but realistically speaking, Yankees are next to win a championship.
No, like absolutely. And trust me, I think why making this list is kind of difficult is because sometimes even if you're a fan of a team, you got to kind of like put your fandom aside and be objective.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play it neutral. You got to play it neutral.
And I could have just said, okay, Yankees are going to win the World Series the next time they play baseball. Next time they play football, Giants are going to win the Super Bowl. Notre Dame's going to win the national championship. Rangers are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be like a beautiful year for me.
Oh, that would be a beautiful year for you. It won't be for me.
Well,
if you think about it, a good year for me too, because the Rangers and the Yankees, but not for the Jets or the Knicks.
The Jets and the Knicks.
I guarantee you, if the Jets win a Super Bowl, Reggie's going to be jumping up and down.
Oh, you're talking
it's either that or New York City's burning down.
Are you kidding me? You're talking Canyon and Heroes? That's going to be jam-packed with Jet fans. And then if you want an even bigger celebration, the Knicks winning a championship, are you kidding me?
Oh, this city won't even be proud.
It'll be a month-long celebration, and the city's going to – you think the Jets are going to burn down the city? I think the Knicks will absolutely devastate the city with a championship parade.
It'll be a sea of orange and blue.
Oh, my God. And literally orange. Literally.
Literal orange But also, if the Yankees win a World Series, you see have the Yankees win a World Series.
Yeah, but the Yankees have won so many that it's a common thing.
Well, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, I would say more of the Mets. If the Mets win a World Series, I think
That's another sea of orange and blue.
Will go nuts if the Mets.
If the Mets win a World Series, this city will burn to the ground.
I will say, I was rooting for the Mets a few years ago against the Royals.
In 2015,
I was rooting for the Mets.
I mean, I wasn't going to be upset if the Mets won, but I really wanted Kansas City to. I think it's a good feel-good story. It's a better feel-good story for Kansas City to win than the Mets. I'll be honest.
In 2015, because where I went to school, there's a lot of people from Long Island, and Long Island are Met fans.
For the most part, yeah.
And when the Mets were going to the World Series, that place was going nuts. I like for at least a month, I didn't wear any of my Yankee stuff.
Yeah,
and to make it even
because us Yankee fans, we feel
was a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, because us Yankee fans were threatened by the Mets. We're threatened by the Mets. That's how it is.
But I did put on my Facebook when people said, "Hey, we know you're a Yankee fan. Are you rooting for the Mets or the Royals?" Well, I'll root for the Mets. Like, listen, like, here's something contrary to popular belief with Yankee fans. Well, me and I'm sure Reg, you're the same way. I don't hate the Mets.
Yeah, I go to Met games. I cheer for the Mets.
Like, put it this way:
if the Yankees are out in the Mets in the World Series, I'll root for the Mets.
Think about it. At the end of the day, New Yorkers always come together.
I'm not walking around with a Met World Series championship shirt on, but I'll root for them.
But put it this way: if the State York has a chance to win the championship, Yankees are in the World Series, Mets are not. Let's go Yankees. New York comes together. Jets make the Super Bowl. Giants are not in it. Everyone goes on the Jets because
I hope they do.
No, because Reg, if the Jets are in the Super Bowl, I will absolutely root for them.
Just think about it. New Yorkers, end of the day, they come together. I'm sure every Met fan in 2001 was pulling for the Yankees to win it because of what happened in that year.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
End of the day, New Yorkers come together. I think Adam Sandler put it right in I think it was 12-12-12 concert because we're New Yorkers.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to put it this way. Have you ever noticed this? I think there are more Met fans that hate the Yankees than Yankee fans who hate the Mets.
I could see that, yeah.
I could see that too because Mets see the success of the New York Yankees and they look at their success, 2 championships.
Because I feel like with the Yankees and the Mets, the Yankees are sort of like that. You know, when you have you have 2 siblings, the sibling who is the sibling who's doing great in life, has a great job, making a shit ton of money, and the other sibling is basically a loser. And it's feel like New York is the parent saying, "Why can't you be more like your older brother who's doing much better?"
That's why I'm an only child.
Well, for those who don't know, I have a brother. Reg has 2 siblings, so
one of them a twin.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And Patchy's an only child. How's that? Hearing this, he's probably like,
"There's only one Patchy."
Hearing this, he's probably like, "Hey, thank God I don't have to be in that situation."
There's no little Patchy. There's no big Patchy. There's just Patchy. There's parent Patchy and mama Patchy, but there's just Patchy.
Yeah. So yeah, like that list was fun to make, but it wasn't. But it was. I'll be honest. Mentally, it was kind of because again, you got to put your fandom aside and be objective.
Exactly.
I'll give you 2 a better homework assignment for next week's show.
Okay.
Well, I have an idea for next week, but we could talk about it off camera.
What?
I do have an idea for next week, but if we could talk about it off camera.
We'll talk yours off camera. I'll give you both a homework assignment and the listeners so they can get theirs ready.
Okay.
For next week's assignment, I want you guys to pick your walk-up music for a batting, and if you're coming out as the closer, what's your outro song?
Okay.
That's your homework for next week.
All right.
Okay,
I could do that.
That's pretty good. And there's a part 2 I'm thinking about that assignment, but like I said, there's another thing I've been thinking about, which is an off-camera discussion.
Yep. And also, you can have 2 walk-up songs. So you got your first walk-up song, and you got your alternative walk-up song for later in the game.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
So pick 3 songs. Your 2 walk-up songs and your outro song as a closer.
You
got 3 songs.
Okay.
That sounds, yeah, that could be interesting. And like I said, we'll put polls on Facebook and Twitter, and we want to hear what you guys think.
And also, I have an idea too. Let's put our poll up from today. Whose list do you think is most accurate?
Oh, we have a lot of polls to put up now.
Well, hey, we want to engage the listeners. We want to hear from the listeners. We're trying to build our brand, as they say.
Yeah, we're gonna put the polls up, and like I said, guys, even though we're in the studio computer talking, you're as much as part of the show as we are.
Absolutely.
You are much as part of the show as we are.
Yep. You can always comment below. You also like and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, because like I said,
Message us if you want personally. If you want to be a part of the show, we have open doors.
we welcome everyone.
Just like how we had Eric Franklin Ford last week. He messaged me saying, "Hey, can I be on the show?" I'm like, "Of course."
Yeah. We have an open door policy. We don't judge anyone. We welcome everybody.
The more the merrier.
The only people we judge are let's think of a sport people. Croquet, yes.
Whoa. Hey, I will watch croquet if it's on. It's something to watch.
Okay, I take that back.
I've been watching cornhole before we started our episode recording.
You do that every week before we start recording.
Because it's on.
Because it's on. That's why you gotta watch something.
You need something.
I'm taking a huge break with sports, but I'm watching something. You know.
I think at 5 o'clock, ESPN2 has the Madden tournament on. So I'll be watching that probably.
That's dope. I like that.
And you know what? I got to give credit to ESPN. At least they're trying to do something to,
ESPN did great. They did the show season with all the MLB one representative from each team. Blake Snell won the championship, so we got a cool gift from Sony and MLB. So, listen, tomorrow if they came out putting curling on, I'm watching it. Because who doesn't?
We know you love curling, Pat.
Curling is an amazing sport to watch. Don't get me wrong; it's harder than you think.
Like the Family Guy joke. Well, why don't you come back with us and watch the big curling match?
Hey, The Simpsons did a thing about curling, and Marge and Homer.
I saw that.
Marge and Homer won the gold medal.
I saw that.
Marge won with a broken freaking hand.
And that should have been the series finale too. But that's another conversation.
Simpsons should have died 7 years ago. That's a different take.
Oh my God, that show. I used to love like pre-movie Simpsons, but now it's just.
I will say, out of all this, the one show I'm looking forward for them doing this take, South Park.
Oh, me too.
South Park's going to have a field day with
The
this.
coronavirus? Oh, my God.
South Park will have a field day with Corona.
God.
Because you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if this is irrelevant to sports. Sometimes we just bullshit about random crap.
But we connect the dots a little bit.
But it's like with South Park, though, I feel like it's that show that can stay on as long as it can because.
Think about it. They do a 10-week series. They do 10 episodes. They make the episode in the week, and they follow the daily. They follow the news weekly. Because put it this way, this is a couple of years ago when they did the GoFundMe episode, when they quit school and they covered the Washington Redskins. They got the patent because the patent was dropped, or the trademark. And the subtle thing was RG3 was starting that week. He got hurt. What'd they do? They threw the backup in and replaced RG3. That's how much South Park pays attention. And that's a subtle detail to pay attention. But if you go back and watch the commercial for the episode, and when they play the episode, the quarterbacks are different. You'll notice the difference. And that's one thing I found hilarious, that they replaced RG3 with the backup quarterback because he got hurt.
Okay, so, like, here's the thing I think with South Park, and just overall with South Park compared to The Simpsons and Family Guy. Simpsons and Family Guy just need to go off the air. I'm sorry. It's starting to get old.
American Dad's where it's at.
I think
Seth MacFarlane
is very underrated.
It is not. That is a fantastic show.
I don't think it's underrated. It's just on cable.
It's on TBS.
That's why it's on cable.
Yeah, but South Park I think can go on forever because, like you said, they pay attention. They don't just recycle the same old gags like like Family Guy and The Simpsons do.
Well, South Park keeps their running gag with Kenny going. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Oh my God, you killed Kenny!
I'm not saying bastard.
You would never. All right, guys. I think that's it for today. But before we go, I want to just give a very special shout out to the class of 2020.
Absolutely, yes.
My brother was actually supposed to graduate from college this weekend. Congrats, bro. And to everyone else out there, listen, I know this is not the commencement weekend you guys wanted, but you guys worked really hard to get this, and no pandemic can take that away.
Absolutely. Like I say this to a lot of people, especially to my fellow Dutchess Community College Falcons and my SUNY Oswego Lakers. Hey, it may not be what you wanted, but it's not about wanting a commencement ceremony. It's about what you earned, what you worked for, what you bring your entire lives to this moment. The fact that you are receiving something that a lot of people don't get. So please just don't take this for granted, okay?
Still enjoy the moment.
Exactly.
Enjoy the moment.
You completed something that's very hard to do.
Cap and gown. It's about knowing that, hey, you did it.
And a few shout outs. I have a few shout outs to a few of my friends that are graduating. I
Let's
got
hear it.
my honorary sister Jackie graduated from SUNY Ulster, getting nursing certificate.
Nurses, we need nurses. Absolutely.
We absolutely need them.
Absolutely need nurses.
Shout out to me and friend Maria. She finally finished.
Yes, she did. Our good friend Maria.
A very long journey. I remember her struggles, but she finally graduated from Dutchess.
And remember, I just want to say this. If it took you a while to get your degree, it's not about how long you took. It's the fact that you get it.
It's the finish line.
Yeah.
And sometimes the journey is more interesting than the destination.
Agree.
100%.
Go on.
And that's it. I thought I had one more, but I forgot, and I apologize.
Like I said, I want to mention my brother was supposed to graduate this weekend, my brother Danny. So, bro, congratulations.
Absolutely. I do have a friend. He's not here. His name is Greg. He just got his paralegal certificate. So we wish him the best. Hopefully he gets into.
I just remembered too now mine.
Go ahead, Patchy.
And my friend, fellow Red Fox, my friend Mariah, she's graduating from Marist, becoming a physical therapist for sports.
Physical therapist, hey, still need them. That's great.
We need them too. So
healing a lot of injuries. And then of course I would like to give a shout out to all of my WTOP 10 toppers out there from Oswego State. I love you guys. I may not know you, but I love you anyway because you're a part of me. Okay, I'm a topper myself. So congratulations, please. Again, it's about the journey. You guys are going to do great things. I love you guys.
And I want to give a special shout out to my alma mater, SUNY New Paltz Hawks. Congratulations from one Hawk to the others. Once a Hawk, always a Hawk.
Shout out to the Red Fox family. Congratulations, class of 2020. You took a 4-year journey. And to all the adults also that are graduating. Yes, you may have taken a long break from school, but you came back and you came across the finish line. You got your diploma.
I especially have respect for those, who went to school, dropped out, and then, they worked, they got married, had a family, and then they decided to go back to school. And I know that's probably tough if they had to go to work, support their family, and go to class. I know I could only imagine that's hard as hell.
Absolutely.
And anyway, class of 2020, again, I know this is not what you wanted, but you know what? It matters that you got the degree. And from all of us here at the Sports Insanity Podcast, congratulations, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
All right. Way to cap off the show.
Cap off the show, Bill.
That was the SIP commencement address. Okay, guys, we hope you enjoyed this week's edition of the Sports Insanity Podcast. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Podbean, and whatever else I missed, we'll put descriptions in below.
Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube.
Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thank you all. I'm Bill Murphy.
I am Lawrence Patchman Lang.
Danny Boy Reginald. We are all signing off.
that is it for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. We will see you next week. Take care.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Deuces.